So, good evening, everyone, and officially welcome to our 2023 Scouts BSA Pre-Camp Leader Meeting for Camp Famous Eagle, part of SBRF Scout Ranch and the Greater St. Louis Area Council. Thank you all for joining us tonight as we get underway. Just a couple of quick introductions of others that are joining us on the call tonight is our 2023 Camp Director, who is Jordan Rude. Jordan is one of our district executives in the Greater St. Louis Area Council covering the Black Gold District. Also with us tonight is Jacob Welch. Jacob is our program director, returning. This will be his third season as the program director, and been on staff at Famous Eagle, I think, since 2015 or 16. And then my name's Matt Kaufman. I'm the camping director for the Greater St. Louis Area Council, and I'll be serving as the overall SBRF Scout Ranch director this summer. I'll leave that slide up just for a second, so if you want to take a quick picture of it, although we will post the slides as well, but if you want that just for contact information, you can get that before we go on to the next one. All right. So moving forward, on the screen, you will see a picture of the cover of this year's Summer Camp Leaders Guide. That if you scan that QR code, it will pull up the PDF of the leader guide that you can follow along if you want, or if you haven't looked through it, strongly encourage you to do so. That and a lot of other resources that we will be referring to throughout the meeting tonight are available on that link on the or on that site on the screen, that stlbsa.org/camps. You can go there at the near the top of the screen. You'll see a blue bar that says camp resources and other information. That's a drop down, and it'll give you access to all kinds of forms, including our refund request form, the special dietary need form that we'll talk about tonight, the BSA medical form, all kinds of resources right on that page that you can get to anytime that you might need. So a couple important dates. Obviously, the first one is PASS that you see there on the screen. So we'll kind of breeze past that early bird savings day. But I will mention, if you have scouts that have not yet crossed over but do cross over, and it's after that early bird savings day, you can let us know that they're signing up for camp. They will still qualify for that $20 off if they're brand new to Scouts BSA. So make sure you let us know. You can reach out to help@stlbsa.org, and we will have to apply that manually on the back side of the registration, but we can do that. I dropped that email into the chat, but that'll go to our council help desk, and one of our support staff will be able to help out with that. May 1st is the campership application deadline, so we want to make sure that everyone is applied for a campership by that date if they are so needing that financial assistance. Camperships are for Greater St. Louis Area Council Scouts, and it'll cover up to half of the fee of a summer camp. We definitely do not want a the finances to be a reason the scout does not attend camp this summer. So make sure if someone is in need that they do apply. We know that we've got camp card sales going on. You have other fundraisers that your units may do, but that campership fund is there, and we definitely want to see that utilized to help get everyone to camp. Just by way of reference for the last couple of years, last year we actually only had about $70,000, I think, in camperships that were applied for. In the years prior to that, it would average more like 120,000. So we have room to be able to help get people to camp. So make sure that they're aware of that campership. The application is there on that stlbsa.org/camps site under that same drop down that we just discussed. And also May 31st is the next kind of payment deadline. The fee does go up another $15 or so June 1st. So make sure if you've got anyone that's not paid in full, that happens by May 31st. Again, that's just the youth participants. There's no late fee or any changes in the price for adults attending camps. All right, next, we're going to talk a little bit about troop leadership requirements for attending summer camp. Obviously, you should all be well aware of the Scouts 2 deep leadership rule. So each unit must have at least 2 registered leaders who are at least 21 years of age. If it's a female troop, they must have at least one registered female leader who is 21 years of age as well. So that could be one male, one female at that point, but if there's female youth involved, there has to be a female adult. Any adult who's going to be at camp for at least 72 hours, and those 72 hours do not have to be consecutive, but anytime during that week, if they're going to be there a total of 72 hours or more, then they do need to be a registered member of the Boy Scouts of America. That does mean a paid position, not just a merit badge counselor. They do have to be in a paid position, registered in the BSA if they're going to be there over 72 hours. And actually, if you haven't seen it, although we've put out some information as a council, and it's been on a lot of the Facebook pages, including a lot of the volunteer ran Facebook pages, that changes actually September 1st of this year, to where any adult attending an overnight camping experience with the Scouts BSA troop has to be a registered member of the BSA. There's a certain special carve out for Cub Scout adult parents, rather, for a Cub Scout camping overnight, but for Scouts BSA, it will be everybody. If at any point you have a concern about meeting that 2 deep leadership rule, I encourage you to reach out to Jordan, and he is the camp director. If he needs assistance, I'll work with him, but we'll work together to make sure that we can find leadership coverage for your unit while at camp. We know things can happen. Someone may drop out last minute, whatever it might be. Please do reach out to us so that we can help you make sure that you are fulfilling that requirement for camp. All right. Now, Jacob's going to laugh when I go over this because I jump real quick to the picture in this. That's an evil snake named Margaret. I don't like snakes. I don't like her. But she's apparently
Margaret's
sweet.
a sweetie.
See, that's what I knew you'd say. She's apparently sweet. I don't care for her. They caught her 2 years in a row and decided to show her to me constantly, and Jacob tried to make me have her way too close. Anyways.
Oh, more than 2.
Well, oh, is it?
Yeah, she's been a staple. We can always tell because she's missing one eye.
Yeah. So some reminders and just tips for registration between now and when summer camp arrives. One big thing that we want your help with is making sure that your numbers are accurate. And what that means at this point is if you have additional scouts that are going to attend, add them as soon as you know they're going to attend. You can add a registrant easily in the online registration. Once you log in or access your reservation, you'll see an additional actions button listed right beneath the registration contact. You'll click on that, and then you can choose add participants. You can add youth, adult, or part-time adults as you go. So make sure that your numbers are accurate. If you need to add, please do so. If you need to delete people, if you have extra spots on your reservation, like unpaid, unnamed spots, there is a form on that website that we discussed at stlbsa.org/camps where you can request deletions from that. And also, if you need to request refunds, that refund request form is there as well. So please make sure you're getting your numbers as accurate as possible as we get closer to camp. If you haven't done so, please make sure that there are names associated with all those spots that you have reserved. Our system will start kind of verifying that the scouts are all registered, and we will have time to follow up to make sure everyone is signed up as they should be. So get those names in there for youth and adults. That leads me to making sure that you do register your adults prior to camp. You can register them as full-time. They'll be there the entire week. Or if you have someone that's just going to be there for a couple of days, a new feature last year was the ability to register just part-time adults. So it's a separate registration type in the camp. You just sign up as a part-time adult under your troops registration. You click the number of days that person will be there. And then there's a charge per day just to cover meals and the like. So making sure that is taken care of and that all those adults get registered, that's important. Many of you have already done the next step, but some still have a ways to go, but making sure that those scouts are getting signed up for the different merit badge sessions that they want to attend throughout the week. or Wayfinder program or any of that is scheduled through the system. Make sure that your scouts are getting signed up at this point. And then special dietary needs or requests or different restrictions for food. It's very important that our food service company has that information before you get to camp so that they can prepare, have the right things on hand in order to make sure that the meals are meeting the requirements of all the campers and leaders. So that form again is on our council website at stlbsa.org/camps under that drop down. It's a simple Google form that you fill out. We share those the responses with the food service company. If there's any concerns or questions, they will reach out to the contact on the submission to make sure that they are well prepared. But the last thing we want to see is a scout arrive at camp and not have food that first meal because we don't have their submission in time. So if you have anyone that meets that, whether it be an allergy need, any religious restrictions or the like, that those are made known to us so that we can accommodate everyone. All right, some additional information here before we jump into some other topics tonight. A week or two before you attend camp, you will receive via email to the registration contact for the unit that is in the registration system. So whoever's listed as the contact there will receive a link to complete what we call just a camp program form. That is a simple form that you'll complete that tells us things, just verifying your numbers that are attending, whether you're utilizing camp equipment or if you choose to use your own troop equipment, such as tents, cots, and the like. All kinds of other information that we'll ask in that program form. We ask that you do respond to that quickly after you see it, so the camp staff and leadership at the camp can be sure to prepare for everything that you might need upon arrival. A little about arrival and check-in, and then I think we'll hit a couple of the questions that have popped up in the chat. So for arrival, you'll see in the leader guide, it kind of explains that process on the Sunday for arrival. As you arrive at SBRF and into Camp Famous Eagle, you can head straight back to your campsite. We will try to have a few camp staff in the area to help guide back, but they are just coming back on duty as well at that time of day from having a little bit of downtime Saturday and Sunday. But as you arrive, again, you can take that trailer back to the campsite, get it situated. We ask that you don't take every vehicle that travels with you back to the site, but if it's hauling a lot of gear, take one vehicle back, unload it, bring it back out. Come 1 o'clock, the camp office will officially be open. Troop counselors will be on the campsites to help check you in, guide you through a camp tour, swim checks, going through your medical recheck. All of those things will happen with that troop counselor on the campsite once you have gotten there, as well as getting your camp all set up for the week and just kind of getting settled in. During that time frame, sometime between 1 and 2:30, we ask that an adult leader come up to the camp office to formally check in the unit, make sure that we know which scouts are there. That'll be settling up any owed fees at that point, if there are any, as well as making sure that your roster is complete. We hand out some informational things to you, get a few other things settled out so that you can be all prepared for the week. So if you have any questions leading up to check-in, feel free to reach out to us. We'll guide you through it the best that we can. This next part is actually going to be Jordan. I'm just going to pull up these points so I can then answer the stuff in the chat a little bit if needed. And Jordan, I'll throw it to you.
Sure. I'm actually going to drop a link really quick in the chat. That is the link to the BSA National page with the health forms where you can download them and fill them out. You could also get them on our registration page when you're registered. The annual health form So the health forums are required for you guys to attend. You must do the Form C as well. So you'll need to do A, B, and C because our camp is over 72 hours. They have to be filled out within the last 12 months. As you do your Form C, which is going to be the physical form, please fill out the BSA form. Please do not bring a school physical or anything like that. We do require the BSA Form C. And leaders, please check on these to make sure they are fully complete before you come to camp, because you don't want to get to camp and find missing information or parent signatures. We'll try to work with you if you're missing anything in there via, you know, a scanned copy or something. But if you show up with everything filled out, it would be much easier. Matt, you want to move on to the next one?
Yeah, I do want to mention one thing on the health forms, just to make sure that everyone understands that 12-month timing. So it's not to the exact day 12 months later, it's actually to the end of the month 12 months later. So if you had a scout or an adult, say, get their health form signed June 15th of 2022, it's good through the end of June this year. So it's always till the end of the month, a year after it was done, just to clarify that. And then, yeah, Jordan, I'll
Also, I just dropped in the chat the swim check from the national webpage that you could download and use. The swim checks, if you come with the form filled out that I just dropped there, that would be perfect. Any qualified lifeguard or aquatics director can perform the test for you. You can go to any of those facilities like a YMCA. There is a spot on the form where they could fill out their credentials on there. When you get to camp, we will check those. If you turn it into our aquatics director, he'll make sure that everyone on the sheet versus everyone that checked in is qualified. This helps speed up the check-in process and get your kids having fun out there. If the aquatics staff and director have any issue with any scout on there that they think might need to retest, they are authorized to do so. That was pretty easy. Back to you, Matt.
Yeah, very true. One thing also on that is just to the instructions for the swim test are on the back side of that form that Jordan, or on the second page of the form that Jordan linked. I do want to remind you that the first step is to jump into water over your head and then level off. So a pool that does not have depth over a scout's head won't work. So just, I've had that happen in the past, so I always mention it. Just make sure that the facility meets the needs of the test so that you can actually get it completed the way it should be. All right, next up, we will transition talking some of the program information. We'll continue answering questions in the chat as we go on, because I'm going to let Jacob handle the majority of this. I'm just going to bring up the slides, or the, whoops, went too far. Bring up the points, and then I'll let Jacob take it from here.
Yeah, so if you do not know, the Wayfinder program is the first-year camper program that we have with GSLAC. So that's it's signed up for essentially like merit badges, to where you can sign up for a Scout and Tenderfoot session, a second class session, or a first class session, and you can sign up for all three. So if your Scout is a Tenderfoot, they would not need to sign up for the Scout and Tenderfoot sessions, but the second and first class options would be good ideas. And that adds a lot more flexibility with taking other merit badges as well. Yeah, I don't really have anything else to add.
Sorry, I was typing and I got a little distracted there, but yeah, with Wayfinder, it's just a great opportunity to get those younger scouts a chance to kind of get acclimated to the camp, but also has the flexibility to build in merit badges throughout the day with their schedule. Wow, I keep doing this. Sorry, keep going one too far.
Yeah, so family night, that's Thursdays, and that is going to be the same night that we have the OA call out ceremony. And then there is a campfire just before the OA call out ceremony for anyone who is there but not participating in the ceremony. If you are having guests, they do need to eat back at the campsite or to bring their own food, because we are not going to be able to offer meals for the additional people that come that night. So the Apex is the kind of rebranding of the older Scout program. It's a little bit more ranch wide than our previous older Scout programs were. We have things like high ropes. We do an overnight, a pontoon cruise, cowboy action shooting, and rock climbing and rappelling. Then we go to Huck's Cove. And there's just a lot of fun things, essentially. For those, if you need to miss a merit badge to go to an activity, you can, but if you miss more than honestly one session for a merit badge, odds are you're not going to be able to get that merit badge. If you miss one, we will definitely be able to work with that, but more than that, and that's, you at that point you've missed half a merit badge. Yeah, and it's no additional fees.
Yep, we are finalizing that overall program schedule. We've got 2 afternoons that we're still trying to plug in to make sure exactly that we've got it right before we send it out. We don't want to send it out and then have to change it. So we've been working with the other camp directors and staff at the ranch to make sure that we have it all lined out and ready to go. And once we do, we will send that out to all the registered adults to help share that out. We were hoping to have it a little bit before now, but we just don't quite have it done at this point. So in response to Allison's question, so with the Apex program, Scouts can choose to participate as much or as little as they want to with the program. So if they want to take a merit badge or 2, they can definitely do that. They'll just then miss those other aspects of the program. So it's one that the system will let you sign up and double book against, but you can pick and choose and attend whichever aspects of it you want to. Once we get that schedule finalized and posted, that'll help a little bit with those planning process of it all, I know. So it is a possibility to be able to do both merit badges and the Apex program.
But the Apex program in itself does not offer any merit badges.
Right. And then Alan asks about if on family night, do troops cook in their campsite? Sometimes they do. It's really dependent upon the troop. So some troops, I don't want to say a lot, some troops will offer to do like a potluck or cook for their families that are coming in to visit. It's really a troop by troop decision. Some families just choose to eat in Farmington or Fredericktown, which are the 2 closest towns to the ranch before coming out, or bring in something and eat while their troops or while their scouts are eating in the dining hall that night. So early in the week that you are attending camp, actually, I think it might be a question on the program form where we ask whether or not you're going to be doing a potluck or eating in the campsite, or whether you need the meal in the dining hall that night for that Thursday family night. We'll get that information from you and make sure that we're all on the same page. This page that you'll see on the screen right now is a little bit of a change this year. So in the past, you'll see a lot of the things in the leader's guide for the different merit badges as part of the class catalog would say you need to purchase a kit in the trading post. It'll be between X and X amount of dollars. Well, this year, instead of doing it that way and having the scouts constantly running back and forth to the trading post and back, we have set it up to where if it's a class that's going to require a kit or an additional supply, you're thinking the archery, the arrow kit that they need to build for archery, or basketry kits or leatherworking kits, whatever it might be. We've just added a class fee, and then we will have those kits and materials at the program area for the scouts to get. They won't have to run and go to the to the trading post partway through Monday. They're not wasting half their day running back and forth from program area to the trading post to get those. We will just have it at the area for them. All right. Yeah, with the Apex program, we're really looking at the schedule to make sure that all equipment is where it needs to be, and that we have it to make sure that we cover that with everybody and they have everything that they will need to have. All right, Jacob, I think this one's you again.
Yeah, so for open swimming and open boating, that is the 5th and 6th merit badge slot hours. And for those, we do have assigned time slots for open swimming and open boating for troops. So when you are making your merit badge schedules, if you have not included that in your time for like the layout, make sure that you're thinking about open swim and open boating when you're making your merit badge schedules. So yeah, if you are a swimmer, you can do everything. And we have, sorry, my mind's just going blank.
You're talking Huck's Cove now, Jacob?
No, for
the swimming and boating. Sorry,
boating.
Go ahead.
If you are any swimmers, if you're a swimmer, you can go in any of the 3 areas. If you're a beginner, then you can only go in the beginners and learners. And if you are learners, then you can only go into the learners, and that's just depths by ability group. There are also kayaks and canoes. And stand-up paddleboards. Huck's Cove, that is going to be something that your troops will sign up on the program sheet. And then there are 2 ways to get to Huck's Cove. One, you can request a pontoon ride, which we will have signups for in the office, just to make sure that we have someone down there ready to take you. Or you can drive yourselves down there. I personally would recommend driving. I do understand that a lot of people do like the pontoon ride down there, and that's part of the experience, and I completely understand that. But if you're wanting the Huck's Cove full time, I would recommend driving, just because you are gonna that shuttling back and forth does take a lot of time. It's I think 2-mile long lake. Is that right? Do you know? Anyway, it does take a lot of time, so that can cut into your time. So, think about which option would suit you best. Out and abouts, on top of those, I'm going to add overnights. You can sign up for out and abouts and overnights. An out and about is essentially a canoe tour of the lake. We'll have a staff member going around with you. And then you'll just go onto the lake a little bit, and this will be part of the evening activities. So I think they usually start around 7, if memory serves right. And then an overnight is kind of starts like an out and about, where you go out on the lake, except you bring your things with you and you go out to one of our overnight spots, and you just camp there in the woods for a night. It's a lot of fun. Evening programs, we're going to have a lot of, if you've been to Famous Eagle before, we're going to have a lot of the same, types of evening programs that we've generally offered. So we'll have like a Scoutcraft night and aquatics night. I am hoping to keep adding on general just camp-wide programs that are just kind of like fun little things to do. Just kind of, just different activities. I think that about covers it, Matt.
Okay. One activity that it's an interesting question. Sorry, one activity that is not on there that the Shawnee Lodge, Order of the Arrow Lodge that works with SBARF has planned out is a Monday night overnight at some new Adirondacks that they put up in the NIMS Overlook area at the ranch. So OA members, there'll be opportunity to go and stay overnight in the new Adirondacks on Monday night of each week at camp. Just to throw that out there. Castle Rock, Castle Rock is definitely an option. So that's part of the thing is you're building your troop programs. Castle Rock is in a picture that'll be coming up here. So if you're not familiar, but it's a rock formation that's at the ranch near Swift High Adventure Base on the kind of south end of Nims Lake. Awesome spot to go to. It's been kind of opened up over the last couple of years to where you get better views and a little less crowded with the trees that were around it. So there's always the option if you want to go out to Castle Rock, you can do that. There's a parking lot and that's really close to it. So it's a short hike from that parking lot. Also usually, and it'll kind of be up to the Wayfinder director each year, but on Friday afternoons, they've offered a hike for those Wayfinders if they want to go and hike up to Castle Rock from Swift. As if that's and as an overnight, I'd say it's always those kind of unique things are always possible. We just asked that you talk through with Jacob and Jordan both. If you want to plan something like that, as long as we have availability, we've been able to make things work. The big thing for any of those overnight things, we don't have the spare equipment that we can send along for an overnight. So it'd be gear and all that you would have, whether it be hammocks or tents that the troop has, things like that. But there's always opportunities for us to make those kind of things work. So Adam, thanks for bringing that up, because there are always, as this just that other line on there on the screen, we can work with you to build programs that work great for your troop while you're at camp.
Just a thought on that as well. Castle Rock is a lot of fun. It can be a little dangerous, to be completely honest. So if you are going, make sure that every adult there has the contact information of the Famous Eagle administration staff, just in case anything does happen. You usually don't have an issue getting cell service down there, but just make sure that you can contact someone.
Kirby, to answer the question regarding rappelling and the ropes course. So climbing and rappelling do happen. It is a Thursday activity as part of the Apex program, and then an option for older scouts to take that merit badge where they would do some practical work on knots and things, typically with the Apex director ahead of that Thursday course. And the Apex program will also end up doing the ropes course. For other groups to utilize it during the time at camp, it can get a little difficult because we're balancing Swift's schedule, where their staff are the ones that are the trained in the ropes course and tend to take people. So we can't always make it work for other groups, but in some weeks we are able to, just depends on what their schedule is like. So it's always something we can look into. And then for the troop trailers, to answer Terry's question, they don't always, that just jumped really high. Hold on. They don't have to necessarily be there at 11 or whichever time before 1. We just really try to limit the amount of vehicle traffic on the roads once the scouts are really arriving and getting checked in. It happens every week. There's always going to be a trailer or two that need to come in after that fact. So it's not the end of the world if it needs to come in a little later and get back to the campsite. We just ask that any drivers use extreme caution when they're doing so, and make sure that we know ahead of time at the camp that is going to be the case.
And just another note to go back to Apex with the rappelling and the ropes course, adults are welcome to come on any of the Apex events. You're more than welcome to be there. It's just you have to be of that certain age. So,
yep. Then I've got one, but I'm gonna mention it. It's just a direct message, so others won't see it, but I think it's a good one to answer, and then we'll go on to the next point on the screen. So there's the question about if you do a pre-camp swim check, show up, and then it's determined that a scout needs to redo it, will that test be in a pool or lake? At the ranch, it will definitely be in a lake. We don't have a swimming pool on that property. So that will be completed and in the swimming area at the lake. And then if they don't pass a swim test, but their merit badges say are required, they're doing swimming and kayaking, can they go and sign up for a merit badge, another merit badge to replace those? Yes, we work with that through the afternoon on Sunday. If it determines that we need to do changes, come up to the office, chat with Jacob or our business manager or Jordan, whoever's in the office at that point, can help you get schedules straightened away and swapped out if need be. It's a very common thing that we work on all the time because you just never quite know how they're going to be, especially if they're not used to swimming in a lake versus swimming in a pool. It can be a little different for them. So good questions. All right. I do want to mention some staff opportunities that we still have for the staff or for the different camps that we operate. So we operate 4 different Scouts BSA summer camps and then a week of Scouts BSA camp at a 5th, being Swift based this year. So we are still basically always on the lookout for staff. We employ close to 250 seasonal camp staff members across the Greater St. Louis Area Council. And we do have opportunities at each of those camps still, anywhere from ranging from food service aides to program counselors to aquatics director in a couple of cases, as we're rounding out the staff. So we want to encourage you, if you know of anybody, or maybe you yourself want to apply to be a member of the camp staff team, you can do so at that same website that we've touted many times tonight. It's an online application that you can fill out, and then one of our camp directors will reach out to schedule an interview with you. But there are definitely still chances out there. If you have scouts that are older and say, I've done this all at camp, have them apply and come work. Spend time with the summer. They'll get, the paycheck is not huge. We all know that, but we don't do it for the paycheck. It's a great experience. We cover their room and board, feed them while they're there. And if you have a teenager, that might be well worth way more than the pay would be if they feed them for you. But all kinds of opportunities for them to be on one of our camp staffs. Few positions that you might have to be 16 for like our aquatics areas, since they are on a lake at the ranch. A few others that are 18 directors that we're still filling at one or two of the camps. So if you know of any scout that might be great, or someone that's not a scout that might be qualified and want to get involved, let us know, and we can definitely have them apply. Also, if it is a situation where maybe they can't do the entire summer, but they can do part of it, still have them apply so that we can talk to them, reach out and interview and see what that looks like. Because we may have someone that could fit the other part of the time that they can't be at the camp. So always opportunities there. So there's a picture of the top of Castle Rock. So now let's make sure here that we see what other questions may have popped in. I know I just saw a couple. So Crystal's asking if there's any specific advice for troops that have been to Famous Eagle in the past for a troop coming for their first time. So I'll let you guys drop those in the chat if you have any suggestions. Crystal, I don't know which troop you're with. So if you're far away, obviously you probably can't take a tour. But if you're in the area at any point and want to tour, let us know and we can work that out, because just kind of getting your bearings on the land can help a lot. Tina had asked about offering an opportunity for adults to renew the BSA lifeguard certification. That process has become a little bit lengthy for us to be able to manage typically during a week of summer camp. But we may be able to, I know the council has a couple of different opportunities for lifeguard training that are on the website, but I'd have to double check dates. I just don't know at the moment that we'd be able to offer it during camp as it's going right now. Oh yeah, so Crystal, that's probably a bit long of a drive to haul up there to tour at some point. But other advice for first time arrivals, just the biggest thing is if you have any questions that pop up between now and then, reach out to us, whether it be Jordan or myself, so that we can answer those questions. We want to make sure that you're well prepared to be there. All right, let's see. That'll help. All right. IOLS, so Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills, was mentioned in the leader guide. And we're working on how we normally manage that in the Wayfinder area throughout the days, because a lot of the skills are the same. But as far as other adult leader trainings that happen, so many are online now that we don't have a lot that we offer in person. However, the Scoutmaster and Assistant Leader specific training, what used to be called the indoor portion of that training, is offered each week at camp. We have members of the council training volunteer committee come in and conduct that, usually on Wednesdays. There should be a registration online for that. You don't have to sign up ahead of time, but you can. You can also just sign up when you're at camp, or just go to the training. There's not a cost involved for that training unless you want the program manuals and things that go along with it, which many troops already have. So we don't require a cost for that, or a fee for that, I should say. If by chance someone is in the provisional camping, we do have what we call provisional camping, where a scout may attend without their unit. The way that will work between now and camp, we will pair you with a unit that is attending camp. So if it's a female scout, we'll pair them with a female troop, male scout with a boys troop, obviously. So we will get you in touch with the camp, or the troop leadership of that other troop, to make sure that you can coordinate ahead of time, so that we get them all worked in together well ahead of time. It makes for a better program for the scouts. Say we only had 2 provisional scouts in a week. We used to kind of do that as a separate group with our own leaders, and it's just not a very, they miss out on a lot of the group dynamic, that method. So pairing them up with troops is what we've gone to the last couple of years, and it's worked well to make sure that they are involved in everything. Power situation and campsites. There's only one campsite at Famous Eagle that has power to it, and that is Backer Campsite. For adults that have CPAP machines, typically some kind of rechargeable system is what is used by the majority of adults coming to camp that do need that CPAP. We have a lot of locations that you can set up and get those charged, whether it be in Leadership Hall, which is the dining hall, in the program hall where the office is. Any of those things, we can make sure that we get them all charged up. Blue cards. No, you do not need to provide blue cards for merit badges. We print them at the end of the week for you. So you don't have to worry about bringing blue cards for the classes. The schedule in the leader guide shows Friday is merit badge makeup day. So there are no formal classes scheduled on Friday for merit badges. So those time frames, mainly the morning, is set aside for scouts to make up work that they may have missed or need to catch up on. So say your Hucks Cove time gets scheduled for 2:00 on Tuesday. Well, you're going to miss the 2:00 merit badge. So on Friday, then you can come back and make up that session that was missed. So that is what that Friday time frame is for making up work that still needs to happen, finish up requirements that you haven't met yet. Otherwise, throughout the morning, if you don't have a class to go to, you can hang out. You can get them to start cleaning up the campsite. That always takes a while at the end of a long week, or just go over to Castle Rock, whatever it might be. There's all kinds of opportunities for them. Yeah, so all meals are provided in the dining hall while you are at camp. Thursday night, for family night, if you want to do something on your own or another meal, let us know. But typically you'll be in the dining hall with us for all those meals. And should we plan on bringing our own cots? I'll be completely honest, if you have cots, you might bring them. There's a couple of weeks that the ranch is going to have a lot of people at it. So it may stretch a little thin on what we do have. But if you have some, that will definitely help out with, just with comfort and the ability just to know that a couple of the weeks are going to be really, really heavy attendance wise. Oh yeah, definitely hot water for the showers. The campsites, they do have ones that are ambient, but yeah, there's a 2 other shower houses and then an adult leader shower that's already kind of been answered by Sean that I'm reading. So, well, I'll get on him later. I know him well enough to say, hey, you're answering my questions. Good, that's answered. Cub Scouts who want to. Oh, if you are from another council and want to participate in the Order of the Arrow call out, the requirement that the National Order of the Arrow has is that you have permission from your home lodge to participate in that call out. So a letter from your lodge just brought with you to camp, and then we'll make sure that we include them in the call out on Thursday night. That one's an easy to do. Sharon answered the question on ice. So yeah, we definitely do have access to ice. We don't charge for ice, and you can get that through our food service aides in the dining hall.
And for ice, you can just bring a cooler or like your 5-gallon water jug or something. You don't have to get it through bags.
Yeah, it's actually much quicker and easier if we can just dump right into the coolers or things from the big ice maker. We had a tour with our food service company not long ago, and they said that's the biggest ice maker they've ever seen in a facility like ours. So it's massive. Carrie, if you do have that need with setting up like provisional, reach out to me at my email and we'll work through that. Ed, that's the reason the mess kit is on there. It's a shared leader guide, so that list gets shared among the camps. Basically, not the leader guide itself is not shared, but that list does. So we probably didn't catch that edit for mess kits. You don't really need a mess kit at Famous Eagle. You might want something if they're in the cooking merit badge, but outside of that, you don't need it unless you just want to have it. How is attendance published? So on the registration page, there is a little section that says attachments, and it does have a report there called Campsite Alignment Matrix that shows what troops are in which sites, and it does give a total number of people for that week as it's current. That's a real-time report, so as soon as you click it, it does pull that report for you and show that to you. We will. So, that just, thank you, Jacob. You got it. Never mind. I'm not going to answer that one since you just. Brad asked which weeks are the busy weeks. I don't remember off the top of my head because I'm looking at 3 different camps at that point to know which are the busiest at the ranch. Typically, though, it is the second week of attendance. And then that second and third week are usually the heaviest. And then the last week we'll also have quite a few there. No one has to use the camp tents. So someone asked if adults have to use them. You can bring your own tents as much as you want. If your troop is much more comfortable doing that, not a problem at all. Adults, same thing. You can use whichever tents you would like to use. Not a problem if you choose to use your own. Just reading through, I think I got to the bottom of the list here. So there'd been a couple responses to Ed, your last question there. So if there's others that you'd like clarified, let us know. Someone asked if hammocks are okay. One of the leaders prefer that. Hammocks are okay. Just follow the BSA rules for hammocks, which means no stacking, things like that. And some of the campsites, I mean, you should be able to find somewhere at all the campsites. It just depends on how many hammocks you are putting up, on how much location you'll have for those. But yeah, the big thing there, if you haven't read it, there's a whole safety moment on the BSA's website about hammocks and making sure that you're doing it the right way so that we don't have 4 stacked high and people getting injured and Jordan doing paperwork. All right. I think we have answered all of the ones in the chat. So what I'll say here as we begin to wrap up, definitely if you have other questions that we did not cover tonight, reach out to us so that we can answer those for you. Myself, Jacob, Jordan, we're all happy to answer those, as just to make sure that you're as prepared as can be for camp. This recording will post online so that you can share it with other leaders that may not have been able to join tonight. Jordan, if you could grab that link for the leader guide and drop it in the chat real quick for Chuck, that would be great. Just my screens are covered and I can't browse thank you. Oh, look at that. Sharon got it for you. All right. But definitely want to thank everyone for joining us tonight. Jordan, did you have anything else you wanted to say as we wrap up this evening?
I do not. I'm just super excited to see you all at camp this summer.
Okay. I know Jacob usually would not have anything else to say in this time, so I'm not going to really throw it to him. Nope, that's what I figured. All right. So again, thank you all. We're looking forward to having you at the ranch this summer, and especially there at Famous Eagle. It's the camp I've been at the last 2 years as the camp director. So you guys are in great hands with Jordan and Jacob, and we look forward to having you there and taking care of you as our guests this summer. So with that, we will close, and thank you all very much for attending.